Hi guys, so it's Q&A time. I've gone through my email box. I've got a question from Michael Pickering. Top question: how do I calculate my BMR and then my total calories based on that? So a little bit of a back step. When we look at fat loss, we need to make sure that we're in a calorie deficit. So the energy balance that we use on a daily basis, the food that we take on board needs to be less than we're actually expending through the day. So imagine it as a seesaw effect. If we eat more food than we're actually using in terms of energy, movement, digestion, exercise, etc., then obviously that seesaw is going to be steep to one side. So that means the food intake is going to be higher, the output's going to be lower, which is going to essentially mean an increase in weight. Now, if we're eating the same amount of food and expending the same amount of energy, then we're going to stay at the same weight. Things are not going to happen, and we need to make a change in that, whether we're going to go more food, more increase in lean tissue, or less food, and obviously more energy expenditure, which means more fat loss. So when the seesaw is the opposite way, food intake's lower, energy output's higher, that means we're then going to be in a calorie deficit. But we've got to find this maintenance so we can either increase food to gain muscle tissue or decrease food and increase energy expenditure so we can lose fat. Or you might even want to find your maintenance. That's entirely up to you. But let's find the maintenance first. One thing we can do is use a formula based on your weight. So let's say we've got a 60 kilo individual. We can times that by 22 or 24 for a male. So 22 for a female, roughly about 24 for a male. That would give you a rough BMR. So that's basic metabolic rate. Basic metabolic rate is the amount of calories that you would need for daily function without doing anything else. So if you were to lay in bed all day and not move, be nice, but if you were to lay in bed all day and not move, that's the amount of calories that you would burn based on your BMR. So then we've got activity, we've then got digestion, we've then got movement, and all these things that are additional to the BMR. So we know that once we've found the BMR, the basic metabolic rate in terms of energy input or output, we then need to calculate how much movement we're doing through the day, etc., etc. So that's when it becomes a little bit difficult, because we have to times the basic metabolic rate formula by an activity multiplier, and that's generally about 1.2 for a sedentary individual, anywhere up to like 1.8 for an endurance athlete who's training 2-3 times a day, 6-7 days a week. So you've got to find out where you kind of fit in between that activity multiplier. If you want an easier way of finding the amount of calories that you should be eating based on your weight, the best thing to do is to weigh yourself in the morning, maybe a Monday morning, in your birthday suit, get up in the morning, go to the toilet, weigh yourself. Note that weight down. Then track your food for a full week. So input everything that you eat on a daily basis. Monday breakfast, Monday lunch, Monday dinner, any snacks, anything that you drink, any sugar that you put in your coffee and tea, any milk, everything that you consume that goes in your mouth, that you digest and you eat and drink, that needs to be calculated for. Then once you've got a diary over the week, you can use something called MyFitnessPal. If you want to know how to use MyFitnessPal for beginners and the intermediate side of it, then I've done another video. Wait till the end, click on the box and it'll take you straight to that video. So yeah, calculate your foods through that week, see what you've got. Tot up the calories over the days and the whole week. Now if you've increased weight, you know that the food intake that you've eaten over that week, once you've calculated the calories, is probably too much. If you've gained 2-3 kilos and you're only small, there's probably going to be a lot of food there that you've maybe over-consuming. If you've lost weight, you know that you're in a calorie deficit. So that gives you some indication of where you need to start from. Then you can start and piece things together. You can either increase calories or decrease calories, or then find that maintenance level. And this might take you 7, 10, 14 days to actually find that balance. Once you've found that balance, you then want to put yourself in a calorie deficit or increase calories efficiently for either lean gains or putting a little bit of weight on. Now, the basic principle of fat loss is looking at about 0.5 to 1% of your body weight each week. So some people may lose a little bit more to start off with. If you're a little bit heavy and you've got a little bit more body fat to lose, you'll probably lose a little bit more than 0.5 to 1% of your body weight each week. But that's cool. Don't worry. We're looking at the long-term strategy of this. If you want to increase weight, you want to be looking at roughly about the same. So if you're building lean muscle tissue, if you're a beginner to getting in the weight room, lifting weights, training, you're probably going to get a quicker adaptive response to somebody like me who's been training for 18 years. Gains are really, really slow at that level. because we've done all the background, we've got all the stimulus, we've got all the adaptation, you know, and we'd really have to push everything for that little extra 2, 3, 4, 5%. So if you're a beginner, you're going to get bigger gains, you're going to gain more muscle tissue. If you're an intermediate, it might take you a little bit longer, but not as long, obviously, as somebody who's been training for, who's got a long age-related training history. So, calorie deficit. Calorie deficit. Drop calories, once you've found maintenance, drop calories by about 5 to 10%. Now, the reason we don't say 100 calories, 300 calories, 500 calories is because everybody's going to be at a different weight. So relating to your weight, I would basically calculate your calories and then take 5 to 10% off. Shave them off, follow it for a week, watch the drop in weight. Have you dropped enough? Maybe not, maybe yet, maybe you're happy with that, shave a little bit more off. Now you can either shave it off food or you can increase energy expenditure. So obviously you need to be training, you need to be moving a little bit more. I'm going to do a separate video on metabolism and how that's affected when you drop into too much of a calorie deficit and how far to take your calories. That's going to be for another video. So I'm just going to keep this one nice and simple. So yeah, find your basic metabolic rate, drop 5 to 10% of calories off that, shave them off, follow it for a week, check your weight again the same day, Monday morning, in the morning, see how you've gone, stay consistent, happy days, then change what you need to change. If on the flip side you want to gain lean muscle mass, your training needs to be a little bit different for that, obviously, but also does your nutrition as well. So you need to make sure that you're increasing calories to gain weight. If you are somebody who's quite thin, not got much muscle mass, you're probably going to have to increase those calories quite a lot. Maybe a 10 to 15% surplus of calories to get that food in there, to get an anabolic environment, to get that food in there to be able to grow. If you've already got quite a bit of muscle mass and you just want to gain a little bit more but not too much body fat, then 5 to 10% increase is probably going to be sufficient. And again, the same process goes. Find basic metabolic rate, increase calories 5 to 10%, monitor it for a week, stay consistent, see what your weight is, check your photos, has your body composition changed, and then obviously make some calculated decisions from that. So thanks for checking in, guys. That's just a basic overview. Remember to click the box here to watch for how to calculate macronutrients and how to use MyFitnessPal for that. See you later, guys.